All right, let's see if we're live. I believe we are. Mic is on, so let's go through this deal really quick. So this is a sub-2 hybrid deal. Great, thanks. All right, 5824 Melville Lane, Forney, Texas 75126. Purchase price $320,000. I'm gonna be efficient because otherwise I'm gonna be late for dinner. All right, so $320,000. Hey, how's it going? All right, $320,000. Sub-2 loan, 3.12 seller carry, which means that there's an equity portion that the seller is financing at 0% interest rate. That might sound really attractive, so let's keep on going. Total monthly payment, $2,245 with a $33,000 entry fee. This is a 3.2 1760 square feet. ARV 306. So you see that the ARV is actually below the purchase price, which is why they have to sell it for creative finance. 23,250, 23,250, $10,000 assignment fee. I'm just writing down these numbers as I go. 2245 includes the HOA and includes the seller carry. Good to know. All right, so we're gonna plug in some of these numbers here. 241,000. All right, let's take a quick look at this property. I put up really quick on realtor.com. This looks like someone's living in there, so I assume everything is still working as intended. Looks pretty turnkey for the most part. You might have to renovate the carpet. All right, so this is in what county? This is in Kaufman County. 93019, Kaufman County 93019. So I want to get the rent ceiling first. So the first thing I'm going to do is access small area FMR. From that point onwards, I'm going to look up FY 2024 FMR, click on Texas, took Kaufman County. And this is again in 75126. 75126 as a 3-bedroom. The rent ceiling here is $29.40. 2940. 4-bedroom is $37.90. Wow, that's really high. $37.90. All right. Now, this is 75126. 75126. 75126. 75126. All right. Now I want to get my market rent. So when I plugged in this address here, it says my market rent is $21.94. So 2194, and that's within a 0.51 mile radius. So just a heads up, you're going to want to know what the market rent is for this area. So if you just looked at a HUD FMR and you said, hey, I can get $29.40, well, you would be mistaken. You would probably be overestimating the rent, right? Because even though the rent ceiling here is $29.40, usually this includes a little bit of utilities. When you actually go here and look at the rent reasonableness, I can show this to you guys, right? In conducting rent reasonableness, the PHA, or the Public Housing Authority, must determine whether the rent to the owner is a reasonable rent in comparison to rent for other comparable unassisted units. This essentially means that you cannot charge more rent to a tenant simply because they are a housing choice voucher holder or simply because they're a Section 8 tenant for the obvious reasons, right? So they all consider all these different things that you have to consider for your allowable rent amount. So when you see that most of the rent, the most important number here is this 25 units within a 0.151 mile radius is 2,200, chances are you can only rent this out at 2,200. Let me see. Can I do this as a 4-bedroom? What does that look at? 4-bedroom is 2,440. I'm going to write this one down because when I saw that the rent ceiling went from $29.40 to $37.90, I was like, whoa, what if there's a chance for me to turn into a 4-bedroom? But again, in this scenario, the market does not support a rent of that amount, 2,525 and 2,536. Again, because of the rent reasonableness test, you have to take the lower of the two. If you were underwriting using $37.90, man, you probably thought you were cash flowing $1,000 on this deal. And that is not the case here. All right. So let's kind of quickly rule out this deal then, because I know what the payments are. So $320,000. Let me plug in the mortgage information. So I'll put this over here so you guys can see it side by side. $241,780, 3.12% interest rate, 30 years. I don't really care about the start date because I'm just going to back into the total amount, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. There is a seller equity portion for $44,970 at 0% interest rate. This is over 30 years, so 12 payments a year. And based off of that amount, I don't think there's no balloon. So it's going to do a 30 year, so there's no balloon on this property. So when you see that amount come across, the most important number is, yeah, I have my closing costs, I have some renovations because it looks turnkey. I'm just going to leave it $3,500. Using $2,200 as my rent because I'm taking the lower of the two, right? The lower of the market rent compared to the SAFMR in this situation. And I have the total payment amount, okay? The total payment amount is $2,245. So when I go to the property tax return, I'm going to do equals $2,245. And now I'm subtract all the loan amounts, which means I'm subtract the principal of the sub-2 loan, the interest portion of the sub-2 loan, and the principal portion of the seller finance note. And this backs into what I'm paying for property taxes and insurance number every single month. Now I'm gonna add about extra $30 because I'm assuming someone's living there as a primary residence property. So usually an insurance policy is a little bit more. So I'm adding $30 each month. I'm setting aside 10% each month for this property, at least 8% for property management. I think that's usually the best rates I've ever heard out there. And I'm setting aside 5% for vacancy. This will result, assuming you rent it out for 3-bedroom at a $2,200 rent, you'll be negative $581 cash flow, which would be a negative 16.2% cash and cash return, assuming you bought this property at $320,000. All right, even if you got this to be a 4-bedroom, and you got it to, let's say, $2,450, which is the market rent that we saw there, $2,450, you would still be losing, even though you're charging $250 more. But don't forget, you had to convert an additional bedroom, and I'm not even adding in like another 15, 20 grand. So if you add in 20 grand for renovations to convert like the garage into a bedroom, well, you're still in a negative $389, and that would still be a negative 7.4 cash and cash return. Hence why this is not a deal after you run through all these scenarios. And that's it. Now, this would have been close to a good deal, but that's only if you mistakenly underwrote the deal, assuming that you had a $37.90 rent, when in reality your market only supported $24.50. So unfortunately, this was not a great deal, even though it's a creative finance deal. Maybe it's a good deal if you live there. Maybe it's a good deal if you want to use a midterm rental or a short-term rental. Again, I don't know the rules, but this is an HOA, so I'm pretty sure short-term rentals are usually not allowed. But again, that's not my strategy. My strategy is Section 8, and I learned to quickly rule out deals as quickly as possible. And when I saw that my market rent was about $2,200 to $2,450, and I saw that my total payment was $2,245, that's how I knew that this wasn't going to be worth my time anymore, right? So hope you guys all have an amazing Saturday evening. I'm going to go have dinner with my family now. I hope you guys spend some quality time with your family and friends today, because that's what it's all about. I drove for about 4 hours today just to see my in-laws in Orange County, and I'm tired, but hey, what's the scale we're working on? We're working on a scale of having no excuses. So that's why we do this. That's why we get better at this. That's why we analyze deals together. My camera's not even working today, but who cares? We're still doing it. We're still putting the daily habits in. This is day 224. So please copy my homework. Put the same deal I analyzed today using the same spreadsheet and put it on your own YouTube channel. Hey, YouTube, man, you have a great weekend. Have an amazing weekend, everybody. But stay consistent with me. This is day 224, and this is the only way that you're going to build confidence so that you know what you're doing when the time comes for a deal to come across your table and slaps you across the face. And if a partner ever asks you, hey, why do you think this is a deal? By that time, you would have 224 deals on your own YouTube channel Use that as your own resume and say, I know this is a deal because I looked at 224 deals and they were all not deals. That's how we build consistency. That's how we build the habit up together. And that's how we become better as a community. So thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Thank you so much for being part of the community. Let's keep this going. Tomorrow will be day 225. And for all of your mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. If you guys don't tune in tomorrow, have an amazing weekend. I will talk to you all again tomorrow for day 225. Thanks, everyone. Have an amazing day. I'll be back here again tomorrow.